Back on Local 6 Midday with another edition of Local 6 Legal Line. The attorneys from the Bryant Law Center in Paducah, two of them, they've got several, but Austin Kennedy and Kevin Shannon answering your questions. And you know, before we went to break, the last segment we had, we were talking about the difference in the uninsured and underinsured motorists. We had a question from a gentleman who said, what's the difference and why do I need both on my insurance? Austin, what do you think?
Well, Kevin explained a little bit about the uninsured on the first segment, but that's in a scenario where you're in, say, a hit-and-run accident where you can actually prove that you were struck by someone else, or a case where you were hit in an accident and the person driving did not have insurance at all. In that case, in Kentucky at least, you were more than likely going to have that unless you specifically rejected that coverage with your insurance carrier. I obviously would not recommend that. In fact, I'd probably increase whatever coverage you have, especially if it's a minimum on that. With underinsured, it's very similar, but the difference would be that, say you're in an accident, the person that caused the accident has a minimum policy of $25,000 in Kentucky, and your bills are racking up well over 6 figures. And you got wage loss, it's at least $25,000. Obviously, your claim's worth a whole lot more than that $25,000 policy. At the same time, you probably don't want to file a lawsuit a lot of times in those cases if the person doesn't have any assets, can't garnish any wages if they don't work, can't levy on a house if it's double mortgaged. So you can look at your own underinsured motorist coverage, and that's exactly what it's there for. It's coverage you have in case you're in an accident, the other person's insurance doesn't have enough coverage to actually compensate you for your injuries and your damages. And the same way with uninsured on that, I would definitely recommend increasing that coverage, definitely more than a minimum of $25,000.
We have a question from John in Mayfield who says he was in a car accident last week doing personal business on company time. No, and the wreck was his fault. So now he wants to know, can they sue his employer for damages, or do you think they're going to come after him?
Well, that one's going to be a tough call. It's going to be very fact intensive. Typically, if you are doing something on the job that's for the benefit of your employer and you're negligent, you cause somebody to be hurt, the person that's hurt can have a claim against you, and then your employer would be what's called vicariously liable for your negligence. If you're doing something that's not really for the benefit of the employer, they're going to have a hard time showing that your employer is responsible, but you're responsible regardless. So it's probably at that point going to come down to a question of what insurance coverage is going to apply. And again, that gets very fact sensitive, but that could be a very difficult situation. I suggest you get some help immediately.
We have another question from Sarah in Benton who says that she got rear-ended 6 months ago. She thought she was fine, but now she's having these horrible headaches. Can she still try to get compensation, or is it too late since she already settled with the insurance company for her car's damages?
It's not too late if you've settled only on the property damage claim, so you need to make sure that the document you signed when you thought you were settling only on your property damage claim refers only to property damage. If it was more expansive, which I doubt it was, you could have a problem. But generally, people settle their property damage claims pretty quickly, and then that does not affect their ability to go ahead and make their personal injury claim later on. So I'd say you're probably okay, but you need to look into getting some help.
As we tend to say when it comes to legal items, they're like snowflakes. No two are the same. You really need to get down to the finer details.
They're not the same, and the one thing that I would encourage everybody out there, if you have questions, call a lawyer. Like if you call us and if you call most other lawyers, you can get a consultation. It's not going to cost you anything. You're not committed. So go ahead and make a phone call and get some information. That way you can make a better decision.
We are out of time on this edition of Legal Line. Our thanks to Austin Kennedy and Kevin Shannon from the Bryant Law Center, our guests today.